Biden's border crisis is reaching new heights, with the CBP data revealing there have been roughly 1.6 million known gotaways at the border in the first 3 years of the Biden administration, compared to 1.4 million the entire previous decade, 10 years. And over 27,000 Chinese migrants have crossed just since October. By the way, those are illegals. Since October, up almost 8,000% from 2021. National Border Patrol Counsel Art Del Cueto joins us now from Arizona. Art, so great to have you here today. So, you know, it's bad enough that these gotaway numbers are so high, and we're worried about all these criminals that are coming over the border that don't want to be, you know, registered with the Border Patrol, don't want to go into a detention center. They just don't want to be found. But we also talked about these Chinese nationals. These are military-age men. Are you concerned that the Chinese could possibly be standing up an army inside of our borders? I mean, what do we know about these gotaways?
Well, see, there's several things you got to look at, and I've been the one that's been screaming about the gotaways for a long time now, and this is where the problem is. Look, it's easy to come across, ask for asylum, and get released. The world knows that. So what intentions would these other individuals come, or what backgrounds would they have, criminal backgrounds, that doesn't allow them to just come across, ask for asylum, and get released? It is bad enough that there's people that can cross into the United States, can honestly have a serious criminal background in their country. We just don't know about it. And then we release them. But now you add these extra factors of people that are coming across. And look, as you said at the beginning, these are known gotaways, because the actual number is not known. It could be very many more, because now there's not even enough agents out there in the field that could see who's coming across, who's evading. So the numbers are astronomical. This needs to stop. And honestly, I'm not just concerned with what's happening right now. I'm concerned with what's going to happen for a long time to come, because we don't know how many people are here, what their intentions are, what they're planning. Nothing at all. There's nothing that we know about these people.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I want to show you this clip, because here's Alejandro Mayorkas being asked one of the first times very directly about these numbers. Listen.
Since the beginning of the administration, is it millions of people?
It's several million people.
More people have been coming in under President Biden than under President Trump. Is that true or not?
That is true. Now, in 2019, there was almost 100% increase. The situation in the hemisphere was propelling people to leave their country.
I think the factors are his administration, or the Biden administration's opened the border. But what's interesting, Art, is these numbers, they're not being forthcoming with giving these numbers and raising the alarm on these numbers. They're trying to hide these numbers. A lot of these numbers we only have because citizen groups have filed FOIAs, Freedom of Information Act.
Look, for a long time, they said there was not a problem at the border. And then when they started, not being able to explain the groups that were knocking down fences and cutting down fences, they weren't, okay, we have a problem now. Well, we're seeing the same thing with the gotaways. We're saying, there's almost a couple million, but it's nothing really. Look, it's a problem. And it's been a problem that this administration started. They don't know how to fix it. And now we're in the position that we're at right now. And it continues to happen each and every day. We're getting, flooded in different areas, people turning themselves in, military-age men from around the world, okay, knowing that they can ask for asylum and get released. And then again, what we've been screaming about for a long, long time, these gotaways, they don't have an answer, they don't have a plan, and we're in a lot of serious trouble right now.
Yeah, Alejandro Mayorkas' title is Homeland Security. This is a man who clearly does not care about securing our homeland, and in fact is trying to hide just how bad things have gotten for our security in America. Art, I really appreciate you coming on and for always being just a really solid voice in this discussion, always raising the alarm, always telling the truth, even when it wasn't popular. So thank you so much, Art. Really appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.